Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, crypto, and Web3. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a wonderful guest with me today, an extraordinary guest. She is an NFT prodigy. She is a pioneer. She is the creator of Long Neckie Ladies NFT, the first female-led NFT collection, and she's also the creator of Long Neckie Kids and Long Neckie Fellas. Please welcome Nyla Hayes. Hello, Nyla. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I love
Yeah.
your show so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. But I definitely want to get started by before we get into the NFT and about your Long Neckie Ladies collection, tell us where you're from and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Nyla Hayes. I'm a 14-year-old NFT digital artist. So I'm actually from Philadelphia. And
Mm,
my whole life I actually been homeschooled. And
wow.
yeah. So
Mhm.
me and my brother, we both been homeschooled our whole lives. And the one thing that I can really remember when I was younger was I just always loved being creative and
Mhm.
expressing myself in this any type of way. And, I used to love doing dance and
Right.
art, fashion, and all things like that. So I think things like that really inspired me when I was younger.
Mhm.
And that kind of stuck with me throughout my life. But yeah, it's a little bit
Mhm.
about me.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Was there anybody in your family that were like fashion designers, artists, or anything?
Well, they're not like professional fashion artists or anything like that,
Mhm.
but fashion designers. But my papa, he's always been really artistic and creative,
Right.
and he's kind of one of my inspirations that I always looked up to when I was younger. I just
Mhm.
loved how he always tried to think outside the box. He actually he's a he does cooking. He
Mhm.
bakes. He That kind of goes into cooking, but also
Yeah.
he builds houses and whatnot, and he does things
Mhm.
like that. And he's always been really creative with his hands. So
Mhm.
I
Right.
think yeah, he's just really been a big inspiration in my life. But
Yeah.
I think my family in general, we just really like creativity. So I've been
Mhm.
surrounded by that throughout my life.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same way because I have like creativity flowing within my family. Like my dad is like into was into graphic design. He's a co-producer of the Rock Newman Show, which is like a very very wonderful show hosted by Rock Newman, who is an uncle to me. And so like yeah, he was into graphic design. My dad was into graphics, and he does media, all types of stuff. So I've learned to get into art and things like that. So I was in the art since I was little, like since I was like 12 or 11 years old. When it reached the second grade and I was in art class, that was it. I was like, I'm heading, head first for art, I don't see myself doing anything else, so that's the thing with that.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to get into like what got you started into like art, who really inspired you? Like, is there any, favorite artists that you like in regards to artwork or anything? Like, how'd you get started into art?
Yeah, so like I said, I was always really artistic. I love arts and crafts since I was young.
Mm.
Um, Actually, art hasn't actually been my first love. It was
Mm.
actually dancing, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, I loved dancing when I was younger. It was one of my favorite things to do.
Mhm.
And the cool thing about my family, they always were very supportive, and whatever I really wanted to do, they always would support me
Mhm.
in doing it. So
Mhm.
when
Nice.
I wanted to become a ballerina, I thought
Wow.
um, they they wanted to support me in any way they
Mhm.
could, and
Yeah.
that's what they did. And I took
Mhm.
a couple ballet classes, and I was really happy about it.
Mhm.
But sadly, the place actually shut down, and besides, we
Mhm.
couldn't spend any more money on that. So I was kind of upset about it, and I already knew that when I have emotions and I don't know how to express them, I have to
Mhm.
think of a different solution to
Mhm.
basically express it. So I used art as a gateway to express my emotions through
Mhm.
that time frame.
Right.
And I already was doing art, but I only thought of it as like a fun little hobby,
Right.
not as something as like I could do something with my life with it, or just having a passion for like completely.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
basically, I just started drawing art almost like every day, and
Right.
it was crazy. It was paper everywhere, like everywhere. Yeah. So my mom, she thought, well,
Mhm.
actually, I've been wanting a phone for quite a while, and
Right.
you know, a 6-year-old usually shouldn't probably have a phone. Well, that's what my parents thought. But I did wait a couple of years, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, you know, can I have a phone? They still thought I was a little young, so I had to think of a clever way to get one. And I already knew they were super tired of cleaning up all this paper. So I told them, you know, if you give me a phone, I can just do digital art, and it'll be much easier for all of us. So that's what they did. And that's kind of where I kind of started being interested into digital art. And after that, I think, you know, I kind of wanted to have a meeting. My idol since I was really young as an artist was Frida Kahlo. And she was always my favorite artist. I loved her art. I loved the meaning behind her art. And, you know, my papa actually I have to thank him for that, because he showed me all different types of artists when I was younger. So Frida always sticked out to me. And I always wanted to have like a meaning to my art in that way, and kind of have that art style that actually like a signature art style. That's what I wanted. So that's what I did. I wanted to think of like, what can I do now? But I didn't know what to draw at all. I only been drawing like cats, dogs, stuff like that. And I remember I was at my grandma's house, and I didn't know what to draw, like I said. And I asked her like, what should I draw? And she just said, draw what you love. And something in my brain just clicked, and I had to think, wow, what do I love? And I love the Brontosaurus dinosaur. I love dinosaurs in general, but but the Brontosaurus, their necks were just so beautiful and long and elegant. And I just loved how, you know, powerful they were. So I think that really inspired me. And then women in general, there's been a lot of powerful women in my life. I would say my mom and my grandma always been a really big inspiration for me. So those two people really shaped my mindset on being a female. And I just have to say, I put the two together, and I thought they were really cool. So I started drawing them, and I just kept drawing them, and they started turning into like little friends of mine. I didn't really have much people to hang out with, so they kind of turned into like my social buddies, basically. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's basically kind of how my passion for art started.
What fostered your interest in like NFTs and Web3?
Yeah, so like I was saying, after I drawed my Long Neckies, they kind of turned into my friends, and now I kind of wanted to be an artist, and I wanted to figure out like, how could I be one? And you know, I showed my family only, and they thought maybe you can go ahead and put it in a flea market or something of that sort, but no one really knew what to do with it. And luckily to my amazing uncle, thank you to him, he texted my mom about NFTs, and basically saying, you know, this could be a platform for Nyla to put her art out there. And, you know, it didn't hurt to like check it out. So that's what we did. And, you know, we learned about what an NFT was and how to mint an NFT and all the good stuff like that. And I feel like I really just really love the idea of putting my art out there. So that kind of really attracted me to the NFT space. And then I think it kind of changed my whole mindset of NFTs when I went into the NFT community, and I actually met the people there and how supportive and nice they were. So I think those things really shaped it for me, and it made me want to be a part of the NFT space.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to go ahead and talk about your Long Neckie Ladies Collection. I find it very, very remarkable. And so you have drawings of iconic legendary women all over the world, such as like Bell Hooks, Aretha Franklin, also Michelle Obama. Like, what's the whole inspiration behind the collection? And tell us about the process behind the collection.
Yeah, so my Long Neckie Ladies are a bit different than my Long Neckie Women of the Year. And the funny thing is, my Long Neckie Ladies, I did a PFP drop when I got into the space around, I believe, June. And the funniest thing, so when I was making my Long Neckie PF, actually not making it, but the day of the drop of my Long Neckie PFP drop, I basically did bunch of Clubhouse rooms during that day.
Right.
And and one of our great friends,
Mm-hmm.
John Knopf, he told us about the president of Time magazine, Keith Grossman, was doing a Clubhouse room, because we were doing Clubhouses at the time. That was like our Twitter Spaces, basically. And
Right.
yeah, so basically, we thought, okay, that's super cool. And we went into his room, we talked to him. He loved my story, and we stayed in contact. And I think about a month later, he basically kind of told us about this ideal of the Day of the Gal and Times 100 Women of the Year, but he didn't know like the full details about it. So, you know, I was basically inspired, because obviously I would want to do something with a major brand like Time magazine. So I went ahead, I looked it up myself, like what was Times 100 Women of the Year. And when I saw Frida Kahlo was one of the women featured, my mind was blown, and I knew I had to do it. So so I just started drawing them, and I just started sending it to Keith. And, you know, I think I kind of forced him to say not to say no. Yeah, basically after that, you know, it kind of was like magic. And before I knew it, I was drawing the 100 Women of the Year for Timepieces. And I think this job was just beautiful in general, because it just shows how powerful the women were in our lives. And I think that's also a reason why a lot of people who collected Timepieces 100 Women of the Year were very connected to the pieces. So I think it had a really deep story, and I think I'm just really happy to be a part of that, a part of history in that way.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. But I definitely want to get into like some of the responses. Like, what would you say were some of like the responses or conversations surrounding your NFT collection? But also, was there anybody famous that really supported your NFT collection or collected your NFTs?
Yeah, so I would say with Times 100 Women of the Year, I think, like I said, a lot of people really just connected to it, because I feel like the women were so iconic, and it had a big part in people's lives. Like, I know Frida Kahlo, she had a big part in my life. I know for my mom, Lucille Ball had a big part in her life. I know, like, Coco Chanel had a big part in my life for fashion-wise. So things like that, I think people connected in that way, and I received a lot of feedback in that way as well. But also, I would say with famous people, I think I had a lot of collectors that were famous, and I'm very grateful for that. I think, I guess just to name a few, Steve Aoki and Ja Rule, Snoop Dogg, and Cat Graham, people like that, you know, and it's just so many. Honestly, it's just so amazing, you know, to actually fathom that. For me personally, you know, I just wanted to put my art out there when I first got into NFTs, and then, you know, having people like with an amazing legacy and history support me, it's just extremely mind-blowing.
Yeah. That's absolutely really, really cool. You know, I think also too, like I think Paris Hilton, you know, you as well. So that's really, really cool too.
Yeah. I love Paris.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. But I definitely want to get into your Genesis collection with Zigazoo. It's called Long Neckie Kids. So it consists of 12 characters with 1,500 variations. And so I definitely want to ask, like, tell us about this collection, the collab with Zigazoo, and also how you're educating kids about the NFT space.
Yeah, so actually how I got connected with Zigazoo was they wanted me on their platform, and they wanted me to just have basically it's kind of like a kids TikTok. So they wanted me to be one of the people on their social media platform. And personally, I just really thought Zigazoo was really cool, because I personally been wanting to kind of educate kids about the NFT space and teach them, you know, NFTs are not just a scam or bad, but they do have good community values, and they could help you in the future. So that kind of was my goal during that time. And I think one thing with brands that I've learned in the space was when you're get an opportunity, you have to take it. So
Right.
so basically I tried to take it in that way. I offered them basically my ideal, and they loved it. So that's so that's kind of how the collaboration came about. And basically the pieces were based off of these kids. My Long Neckie Kids drop was based off of the Zigazoo platform, but also I wanted to make kids but look like actual kids and could be like in a classroom setting. And the animals, actually, I did do animals on them, and the animals were based off of a game that I used to play a lot with my little brother when I was younger, Adopt Me. And on Adopt Me, it's kind of similar to NFTs in my brain. It has rarities to the game with animals, by the way. So it's like uncommon, common, ultra rare, well, rare, ultra rare, and then legendary. So I kind of wanted to bring that element to the kids because I already kind of knew that the kids were around that age of playing Roblox, so I knew they would catch on to it. And so that's kind of where that ideal came about. And then, I mean, that's basically where the ideal came about. Yeah.
You also hosted a worldwide competition for kids, which will help the winners join in with, getting involved with NFTs, but also collab with different brands. So tell us about the worldwide competition.
Yeah, okay. So I had kids from the Zigazoo app come all around from the world, and they basically drew art, and they had to post it on the Zigazoo app. And I believe the top 3 art pieces with the most likes would receive I believe it was an award to actually have a part of an NFT Children's Day, I believe. I'm sorry, it's like I had so many things going on during the time frame that I'm trying to still remember it. But yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, so basically, it was kind of like a collaboration, and it was kind of trying to show the kids basically a reward from them collecting the art pieces that we made. Yeah, so that's basically the whole point of it. And it was a fun little game, a friendly competition for the kids.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. That's really, really cool. But I definitely want to move on and talk about the holiday you created, which I find very also remarkable as well, which is NFT Children's Day. So tell us more about that holiday.
Yeah, so it was funny. So it was already a Children's Day, but we were in the space. And while we were in the space, it was like no lane for kids. And we kind of wanted to change that because, we've seen how much love and support the community gave to us. So we wanted to give that back to the children. And that's kind of where the ideal came about. We know it was a day for almost everything. So
exactly.
Yeah. So we looked up, like, is there a Children's Day? And it was. But we wanted something special for the NFT kids in space. So basically, NFT Children's Day was a day to kind of celebrate the kids in space, show their artwork or any talent they had, and kind of just celebrate them. So that's basically the whole point of the day. It's really simple. It's just celebrating kids in the space and showing that we're supporting them. So,
Yeah. That's really, really cool. And I like the point that you made because the thing that I find so interesting about nowadays, like how you said, like there's a day for almost everything. That's I find so very interesting, like a National Ice Cream Day. Then there's like another National Best Friend Day, and like wow, like where all these days come from. So, but I find that very interesting. But that's really, really cool that you did like an NFT Children's Day, because there are some kids that are jumping into the NFT space. A few that I've interviewed. One of them that I interviewed, her name is Maya Parker.
Maya.
NFTs, and like she's awesome.
Yes, I love Maya. Actually, yesterday I watched her interview on your podcast, on YouTube. Oh my God, it was amazing. It was so good. So, yeah. Maya, though, she's like so cool in the space. I love her art. Her artwork is so fun. I love the expression in it. I think Maya was like one of the first people that really drawed me in as a kid. So we have a really close bond.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. That's really, really cool. And I like how you and, Maya are really breaking barriers in NFTs and Web3 because, especially for Black youth, to get involved with NFTs and Web3 and the metaverse. And speaking of the metaverse, in an interview that I've seen or that I've read was that your first intro to the metaverse was through Roblox.
Yeah.
And so I definitely want to really talk about the metaverse because we have platforms such as Sandbox and Decentraland. That's one of those are the big platforms now for metaverse. And I definitely want to ask, have you had any exhibitions of your work in the metaverse? And have you ever thought about having like a 3D version of your Long Neckie Ladies as like characters in the metaverse?
Yeah, so actually, pretty funny. In the beginning of my journey, I actually had quite a lot art, some of my art pieces in the Sonium space. So I'm kind of familiar with the metaverse in that way, but I think in the beginning it was so early that it has some kinks in it. But I think right now and in the future it's going to get so good that it's going to be like our norm, basically. So I do see the metaverse going somewhere. And, I would really, really love to have a Long Neckie world in the metaverse one day. So,
oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So hopefully, yeah. But yeah, I do love the metaverse. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I have had a lot of interactions in the metaverse.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you play like Sandbox or Decentraland or anything?
So me personally, I'm still trying to learn how to work it, but I know my brother probably will be into it. He's really into technology a lot, so I think maybe we'll get Michael one, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because also with me, I'm still trying to get acclimated to like the metaverse and NFTs and stuff like that. Because there's so much to really learn the depths about NFTs and how to sell NFTs. Understanding assets and utilities. So there's a lot that goes into NFTs. But I definitely want to get into with AI because AI is getting popular, and especially a lot of artists are jumping into AI art, which I find very, very interesting and very, very cool. So with AI, it's popular with NFTs and in the metaverse, especially with, AR and VR. You have metaverse fashion houses coming out with digital fashion. So what is your take of AI and where it's headed in your perspective?
Yeah, so I love AI personally. I love anything with technology in this way. I think AI is so new still to this day. I think in even 5 to 10 years, it'll be so advanced that I just can't wait to see the process of it. But I love AI art. I love AI fashion. I think that's really cool. And I love fashion since I was young. So anything with technology and fashion in it, I'm all for. So hopefully, I'll be able to do something with that. But yeah, I'm excited to see where AI goes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, as well too. I'm excited to see how AI, kind of goes. I just hope it don't get too crazy, but I think there is some good uses to AI. In a positive sense. So that's the thing because you have like DALL-E, you have Chat GBT, which is out now, which is bought by Microsoft. And so, people are taking advantage of, what could be the possibility, like with Chat GBT, you type something, say if you want a recipe for how to make pizza, they're going to give you several ways of how to make pizza. You know what I mean? If you want like, some about, technology and where it's going, they'll give you a full, essay about it. So it's very interesting of how AI is rapidly growing. I'm a little scared of how it'll grow, but I'm pretty excited, to see where it goes.
Yeah, I do. I am too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
With AI, I think it's good things and bad things with it. With everything really. But I mean, I feel like just depending on who's using it, I could think it will be a good use for our daily lives. But yeah,
absolutely. I totally agree with that. But I definitely want to get into in regards to with their experience being in NFTs. Would you say all there is to know about NFTs, or do you think there's still growth of what could be an NFT?
I think it's still growth. Honestly, with technology, it's always growing with you as a person. So I feel like right now I can't even say that I know everything about Web3 or NFTs because throughout these 2 years of actually being in the space, it changed so much. So I think it will just keep changing. So I don't think I'll ever really know how the NFT space is.
Yeah. With NFTs, there's like so many layers you have to peel back. or just with Web3 in general, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And the thing is, what I really like is there's a lot of Twitter spaces and also Clubhouse spaces that are educating you about NFTs and Web3 and the metaverse, whichever lane you want to get into,
Mhm.
and it's such a broad spectrum, of what could be an NFT. It could just be, an illustration, animation, when people have 3D art out, you have different NFT collections like laid back llamas, you have smirks, you have space riders, different NFT collections that are out now with different styles of art. You have artists like Gabe Weiss, who I had a chance to interview, and he's amazing. He's
Yeah,
absolutely really, really
yes.
cool. And I love Ali Sabit's work. Ali Sabit, he's really amazing. Like how we talked about Maya Parker. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that are really, breaking barriers and really, really, promoting themselves and like inspiring others to get into NFTs and Web3.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. But I definitely want to ask this one question because I've asked, women who own like female-led NFT collections this question, who their favorite women-led NFT collections are. So if you had a top 5 in particular, like who would be your favorite NFT, women-led collection and why?
Okay, wow, that's a really hard question. There's a lot of people that I personally know in the NFT space, so it's kind
Mhm.
of hard to choose everyone. But
Mhm.
I think people who come to mind is, um, Boss Beauties. I
Mhm.
think I think most women projects are just really amazing.
Right.
Punks as the female version of the Punks. I actually just got a new one, so thank
Wow.
you. Yeah, I
That's
got
really
one
cool.
made of me, so I'm really honored by that. But
Mhm.
also, I think Women in Weapons are really cool.
Yeah.
I want to have to support myself as well. Long Neckie Ladies. I'm
Mhm.
joking. I'm joking. Okay, and I think it's just so hard to name all of them because there's so many amazing
Right.
people. I think just seeing women in the space in general is already empowering for me personally.
Mhm.
It's not that many women in the space, and I think more women projects should be made already, but they're not.
Mhm.
So hopefully in 2023 there will be more, but I
Mhm.
think women projects and the people I actually did meet a couple of women projects in person,
Mhm.
and I would say they're really sweet people. They really believe in their projects, and I think that's the
Mhm.
most important thing, honestly.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah, yeah.
to believe in
Yeah.
yourself, and I think just supporting other women in the space is also a big thing for me. That's why I'm doing more for my
Mhm.
community, especially the women in my community,
Right.
and talking to them more. So I think it's a lot of people that I could name, but I don't
Mhm.
want to choose any favorites.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It can be hard to choose a favorite because there's so many good NFT female-led, women-led collections. You got Power of Women, you got World of Women, like how you mentioned Boss Beauties,
Hmm.
there's so many others, Crazy Sassy X's, there's so many like different collections and different forms of artistry that's out there now. So it's really, really cool that women, and especially the youth are really stepping into NFTs and Web3 like how we discussed before.
Yeah, it really is powerful.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. But I definitely want to get into this one question. So you have achieved so much, before reaching your 20s. Absolutely amazing and very, very inspiring. And I definitely want to go through this list. You're a child prodigy in NFTs. You've been recognized as Timepiece's first artist in residence, Cadillac's rising icon. You're featured in Time for Kids, Black Enterprise's 40 Under 40, and Ebony Magazine's 2022 Power 100 list. So with all that you've achieved, tell us about like how the ride has been. Like how's been the journey?
Honestly, it's been amazing, grateful. That's all I can say. Like, if I had to describe it in one word, I'm just really grateful, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never imagined this. You know, I never really thought big of myself or anything that I really did in my life. When I was younger, I
Mm-hmm.
really just wanted to accomplish my dream, and that's to put my art out there, and I was happy with that. But seeing all the support and the community, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, the brands that recognize me, it's
Right.
actually unfathomable. And I'm just really happy that I've been able to have this opportunity. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think as me as a person and, you know, as my family, we're very like humble people, and we don't really think much about this stuff, but I am very grateful for it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
My goals is to keep striving and keep going, really. So
Mm-hmm.
with these goals and accomplishments, I'm so grateful for them, and I keep, you know, having them in my. I really haven't really like reflected on myself. That's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
With how I am, I have a hard time looking back in the past because there's a lot of things that hurt me, but
Mm-hmm.
I do try to keep looking towards the future. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized actually, I think this week after I think 2 weeks ago, actually, after I got off the Twitter space, I kind of started reflecting on myself more, and I kind
Mm-hmm.
of started, you know, seeing what I've done in the past 2 years. And it was really like sentimental to me because I was thinking as a 9-year-old me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting myself in her shoes and seeing how she would feel about this. And she was quite emotional because she could never imagine none of this. And I think that's the real big thing for me, to actually make my younger self proud. The girl who
Mm-hmm.
had the dream to be an artist, and now she is. So that's kind of how I think now. Just keep striving for her and trying to get better. So yeah, but it's been a really grateful, amazing experience that honestly I could never even fathom thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really, really amazing. And sometimes you do have to reflect on, how far you've come. You know what I mean? And we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have bumps in the road. And it's how you overcome them. And the thing is that I like how you inspire other people to stay positive. But also reflect on their journey and to really keep going. And that's the thing. And I love like amazing voices such as yourself and other people who are trying to really, really establish saying, hey, you can do this. If I could do it, you can do it too, no matter what age you are. So it's never too late to really succeed.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, I would say I've been hurt by a lot of people, and with my
Mm-hmm.
goal is really to kind of bring that happiness to people. That's all I wanted since I was young. I always been the
Right.
person who brings the joys. That's what my mom said, and basically, I always wanted to kind of keep that light to me and have that happiness. So even when people do me wrong or things happen in my life, I always try to keep this positive energy. And that's kind of what I want to give to my platform, especially with social media today. It's just
Absolutely.
it's so negative. And
Right.
you don't see negativity all the time. So my goal really is to people really in the space, and also just people who follow me, is to kind of spread this positive energy in your life. Have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do smile checks and things of that nature on my
Right.
Instagram. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that. I really want to inspire people. And the way I know how to inspire people is from using my
Mm-hmm.
kindness and being nice to them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's basically my goal, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. Absolutely. Most definitely. So 5 to 10 years from now, what does your future look like? What is next for you? Like, is there any, brand new NFT collections? What could people expect?
Well, I have to say this. I can't read the future. I can't tell the future at all, but I do hope that in the future, whatever I'm doing, it does bring me joy and happiness. That's the most
Mm-hmm.
important thing to me. I know art is always what I love to do, or anything that really shows my emotional side, because I have a horrible time showing my emotional side through words. But with art or anything that's creative, that's kind of my gateway to show my feelings toward it. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that's what I'll keep doing during that time frame. But hopefully I'll be able to do something really really cool with the metaverse or
Mm-hmm.
something in real life that I have planned. I can't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
but um, that's basically what I have going on for like
Mm-hmm.
these. That's my goal basically for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to get into this one last question. Where can people find you on social media? How can people support you and the Long Neckie Ladies Collection, and and anything that's upcoming? You can go ahead and announce it. So how can people support you?
Okay, sounds great. So you can find me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Nyla Collection. That's my Twitter account, and then at Nyla Collection _ NFT is my Instagram. And
Mm-hmm.
how you can support me is just follow me on my journey. That's all I really want. Just follow me on my journey, and
Mm-hmm.
you can join the Long Neckie fam. That's what I would like you to support me in. And
Mm-hmm.
what I have next is something really cool. It's for the drop for February. It's a drop for
Mm-hmm.
February. I can't say anything yet, but it's really meaningful to me and has some super deep meaning. So I
Mm-hmm.
hope you guys will check in. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Well, thank you so much, Nala, for jumping onto the show. And I'm just really, really proud of you. Like, you've achieved so much at such a very young age, before hitting your 20s. And I really love how you're making a true impact in the NFT and Web3 space. And I mean that truly from the bottom of my heart. And I'm in my mid 20s. I'm 26, and I'm really inspired by you. So, just keep doing what you're doing, keep inspiring others, and keep shining, and spreading positivity, and and keep making art. I love what you're doing. So thank you so much. I had a very wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you for having me. I love being on your podcast. It was so amazing.
Yes, thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Also visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and look out for more interviews involving NFTs, crypto, Web3, and the metaverse. Take care.